Hello and welcome to the Blue Monday podcast, covering Ipswich Town since 2015. I'm Richard Woodward, and you are tuned into the Prematch Show, Accrington Stanley away edition, available each week on video and audio, and sometimes live, like we are tonight. Joining me this week, as always, is Seb Brown. Seb, how's your week been? How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. What a great week to be an Ipswich fan. We've had a resounding thumping win, some positivity, and we're all kind of hopeful that the tide might be slowly changing.
Yeah, and we'll talk about Accrington later. They've had a chastening week as well, which gives hope. So yeah, things to be positive about.
A positive time to be a Town fan after all the first few weeks. Let's be honest, everyone knows nothing went to plan how we thought it was going to go, but hopefully now this is the moment where this crazy ride that we all kind of hoped over the summer months would kick off straight away. Hopefully this is the start of that ride now, and if we're going to achieve our objectives of promotion, it's going to be a hell of a ride.
Yeah, and well, lots of interesting narrative about Paul Cook, John Cobbin. We will come to that later. Great to have people with us. Let us know where you are. Hi to Jules. Hi to Charlie, Michael, Andreas, Rob. Let us know where you are as well. We've got Reykjavik, Cambridge, Brisbane. So far, we are spanning the globe tonight. That's what we want. We also want to hear from you throughout. Any questions, any comments, any insights, any bits and pieces of information you've gleaned that you want to share. This show is all about getting everyone clued up with Town's opponents for the weekend. We are happy to share the knowledge, but we also want to hear from all of you as well. Evening to Pablo Canuga, and evening to Eric Clacton, the guy with one of the best names on our YouTube comments. Good morning to everyone. Seb, let's deal with some bits and pieces of news first. And I guess we need to start with international call-ups, because plenty of bits and pieces there. I guess the key bit of news that sort of broke earlier today was the fact that Sam Morsy, who was, I guess, in the long list for the Egypt squad, has not been included in the Egypt squad, named by Carlos
more
Crush.
Good news.
But you give with one hand, you take with the other. Bersan Salina, who I guess is playing himself into some fitness as well as form, excellent performance on Tuesday night. He's named in the Kosovo squad. Armando Dobric has had a call up for Albania's under-21s. So some positive news there. And in respect of the potential issues of player availability there, the fact that Morsty is available has such an important contribution to make against Doncaster. I guess that's good for us, isn't it?
Massively, yeah. I mean, we all saw the influence that he was, that calming influence. He strolled through the game on Tuesday night. And surely now, if he's not in this squad now in October, he's got to be a very long shot to go to the African Cup of Nations. So potentially, hopefully now, we won't lose him for those 5 or 6 weeks as well. So this is absolutely great news. Macaulay Bond didn't get in the Zimbabwe squad either. So fantastic news with the pandemic situation. You're always going to be worried, aren't you, about having to quarantine when they come back or catching COVID while they're away. So all those fears have now gone. And having seen how vital he was for us the other night, just another bit of brilliant news. And I'm happy for Salina as well, with his issues over the summer. And I guess if we're going to lose a player for a game, one of the front three behind the striker isn't a bad one to lose, because we've got so much quality that can come in and replace him.
And as Marius has said, evening to Marius, as good as Salina is, I'd rather have Morsy available. And Salina, I'm a bit frustrated because Salina, to me, needs maybe a break at some point. And going off, and he might not play for Kosovo. He's got the issues of travel and all that stuff. But as Marius says there, Morsy just needs to more familiarity. He knows Evans very well, and we need to get Carroll involved and maybe Harper, and but also an opportunity for someone like Carl Edwards as well, who's missed out the last few weeks.
Just say, if we'd have said 3 weeks ago that, Carl Edwards might be a replacement and we might be a bit worried about him being the one to come in, seems crazy because he started the season so well. You've still got Connor Chaplin in the same kind of boat, haven't you? Sonny Aluko played well when he started the game. Was it against Bolton? He was probably the best of our bad bunch on that day. And then you've still got the likes of Barry on loan from Villa, haven't you? So we've got so many options in those front three. That's why it's not as harmful. I think had Morsy gone, that would be a really, really big miss.
And as you say, I mean, the great thing is I thought Fraser had a really good game. I mean, not a 10 out of 10 kind of Evans type score, but I really like the look of Fraser, he could move into that number 10 position, and Chapman, as you say. So, I mean, this abundance of options, these call-ups in those front four positions, as it were, I guess aren't as major as they might have been last year. But as you say, Morsey just building that midfield familiarity is a good thing. Other bits and pieces of news, I feel it's my obligation now as a true blue, as in a supporter of the ITFC women's team. You can join and support the ITFC women's team via their website, and there's a minimum donation per month. I think it's a £5, and you get free entry amongst other perks as well. And if you see one game a month, it pays for itself. But they are off to London Bees at the weekend after a weekend's rest last week. They are back down to second on goal difference after Southampton beat London Bees, ironically, last weekend. They play at Barnet's ground. There was a 1-0 win for the women's team in the Cup against the Bees a few weeks back, and they've lost their last 3. They're 9th in a 14-team division. So a really good opportunity for ITFC women to get back to playing action and hopefully a positive result and keep their momentum going. In Southampton, I'd say the team to beat. That end of season game they have against Southampton.
It's going to be huge, isn't it? Given the way the league works with the number of places for promotions and stuff. Let's hope they get the momentum going again after their well-deserved week off. And that Southampton game, is it April time, if I remember rightly? I think
it's April. Yeah,
that's looking very, very tasty, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and do get down and support the women's team. As I mentioned before on this show last week, it's great entertainment, great value. You can park right outside. You can have a beer in the view of the pitch, and the team are playing fantastic football, really good attacking football. And the level they're at, which is a level up from last season, don't forget, they are beating most teams they play pretty comfortably. So I've cursed it now that there won't be goals, but I saw 11. I saw 13, in fact. So definitely worth a trip down to Felixstowe. Final bit of news that we're kind of plugging a few bits and pieces rather than, it's like parish notices rather than news. But I wanted to draw attention to the New Wolsey Theatre at the moment, where this play Never Lost at Home is on at the moment. It runs until October 9th, which is next Sunday or Saturday. And it's about the 80-81 season, the UEFA Cup winning season, told from the perspective of a family and their friends watching all of the matches as Ipswich tried to win a treble. And it's crazy for someone who was born a few years after that season to kind of consider what that might have felt like. We could have had the fifth place finish, didn't we, in some playoff years, but it's a really fascinating, and if anyone kind of grew up through the 80s or born prior and loved the 80s, it deals with the history around the time as well as the football. There's stuff around John Lennon and politics, but also the great music as well. There's a really tight band that is playing music interspersed with match footage. And we've mentioned this before, I think, or it's probably well known. The guy playing Sir Bob does a fantastic job. So get down to the Wolsey before that run ends. October 9th, as I said, tickets between £10 to £33, depending on where you sit. And you can also stream every show as well. It's £20 to stream it. So you can watch it from the comfort of your living room if you wanted to as well. So definitely worth a look there. Do you look back on 88? Firstly, Seb, what was your awareness of 80-81 and the meaning for the club in our history? Are you, like me, a little bit ignorant of that era, but know the basics?
I think so, yeah. I mean, we were born, 3-4 years after it all. So we grew up, late 90s was our kind of era with the Burley side, obviously. But, you listen to the podcast that Dave and Stat did a couple of years ago and stuff, the game-by-game runs of the final. It's incredible. I got the book that they released for Christmas. And, the more you read about it and look into it, it's just incredible. You can't comprehend it now, can you? If somebody's doing a podcast in 40 years' time and discusses our I don't know, when we got to the Premier League and we were challenging for the Champions League, it would seem so far removed, so unheard of. It's almost impossible to relate. I've got friends who support Liverpool, friends who support Man City and Man United, given where I live, and they just simply cannot comprehend that it happened, because to them, Ipswich are a Championship side who were a bit rubbish, and then they got relegated, and they're still rubbish. And every Monday morning, Seb's going to be in a bad mood because of the footballing score. So to look back, the level we went so far in the cups as well. It's phenomenal, an absolutely incredible underdog story, and all the reviews, and obviously you've seen it yourself. This play is absolutely superb. I'll be doing a stream of it. Obviously, I'm not able to get there, but I'll be doing a stream of it myself, and really, really recommend people to see it, especially the younger generation, our kind of age group and younger, because it's an incredible part of the club's history that we all need to know about. It's the achievements were absolutely phenomenal, and probably will never happen again.
One for all the family, I would say, as well. And Jules, obviously, I don't know whether you've seen it yet, Jules, but it will definitely fire off some of those memories from what must have been an exciting season. I don't know how many trips away did you make, Jules, because that's part of it as well. The family go off and friends go off and do trips and all that stuff, and sleep in benches and have croissants in Paris and all that kind of stuff after Saint Etienne, and you learn a little bit too. I didn't know about Man City's situation or Norwich's situation in the matches that ended effectively the cup run in the FA Cup and the league title bid as well. But I didn't know that we'd only got through every tie up to Saint Etienne by smashing teams at home and then losing away. We lost away until Saint Etienne. So yeah, always learn something as well. But just a really enjoyable night out, and you can get a beer at the Wolsey. I found out as well. They got Adnams on tap, Adnams in bottles. So there you go. AD saw the 78 show at the Wolsey a couple of years ago, and got a ticket for Saturday. So enjoy that, AD. I'm sure you will. And it's a shame that you can't find the FA Cup one maybe on a video or something like that on YouTube. That Wolsey may be able to do that as a archive thing, but who knows? Anyway. Definitely worth it. Evening to Stephen on the Facebook, liking that. Thanks for the thumbs up. If you're watching on YouTube, please do give us a thumb. It always boosts us up the algorithms, knowing that people watch. So please do that. And as I said before, please keep comments, questions, observations coming in. This is a live show. We want to hear from all of you as well, just as much as Seb and I want to geek out about all the nerdy knowledge about XG that we found out about Accrington as well. Here's Jules. Every European game, home and away, apart from Wood's loss, and he's going to watch the play as well. Brilliant stuff.
Great stuff, yeah. And
Pablo Canu. Both parents went to most of the games that season. Fully briefed on how good we were. Father even made it across to Ramsdown for the final. Said the ferry from Harwich was carnage. I can imagine that. Great days and well worth a celebration of that. The final bit of news is very different to what it might have been. I'm saying quite a lot tonight. I don't know why. I should read my script instead. Our mate Chris Ward, who he's done it again, who pops up from time to time on the live chat. I don't know if he's on tonight. Is running the London Marathon on Sunday. So if you haven't yet donated to Chris, here's the details to do that. uk.virginmoneygiving.com/Tyler_10 years. A really great cause, the Lullaby Trust, in memory of his son Tyler, and a massive undertaking for Chris as well. So please give him your support. I think, Seb, you found out that he's hit his target.
He's over, $5,000 target. He's over that now. But if you haven't donated, please click on the link and let's get Chris as much support and money as possible. I can't even imagine running a marathon. I couldn't even comprehend it. So the training he's put into it, the effort he's put into it is fantastic. Please get on there, give him your help, give him your sponsorship, and really good luck, Chris. I hope you absolutely smash it, mate.
One of our own, yeah, exactly right. Good luck, Chris. And finally, the other bits and pieces of parish notices that I don't know if I want to talk about this, Seb. Is our FPL.
At least I'm beating you in something, so you have to mention it.
Yeah, this is the power of the host. Do I move on? Here's our FPL, the Blue Monday FPL League. If you've not got involved in this yet, I don't think it's too late. Shout and I'll give you the details, or we'll retweet it. Yim's Miss leading the way with Alistair Holmes and Adam Flatt just behind. Seb, do you know where you are? I did tell you before.
111th, did you say?
Yeah. And
that'll do.
I'm twice as far away as you, if that makes sense.
Are you at the stage where you're like changing it every week now?
No.
Whatever change you make, the opposite will happen in real life, and you start to get frustrated. Or
so I'm the FPL equivalent of Paul Cook and Ipswich Town. Had a rough start, but the last few weeks my team has started to
Okay.
I've got a good strength and depth throughout the bench rather than the stars, and that's the trouble. If you pick a Ronaldo or I'm trying to think of a star or a Grealish or what have you, you spend a lot of money, but I think sometimes their scores are a
Just for
little
the
bit
record,
spiky.
I have both of them, and I'm like 130 places ahead of you. So
So
maybe that tactic isn't the best one that you've
no,
adopted
maybe it's
there.
not. I'm playing to not have to use my wild cards, but maybe I should. So good luck.
Don't pick any stars. Yeah,
So
brilliant.
don't pick any players who are going
Don't
to
pick
score
Ronaldo.
hat-tricks.
Overrated.
Why would you do that?
Grealish, nah.
My front three, I'm all right with. I'm quite happy with my front three. It's just my midfield, I think, where I'm limited. So
Okay.
need to sort that out. But not too late to join in, get involved in the FPL league. I'll do a retweet maybe of the code if you are interested in that. I'm loving that the ferry chat from before is continuing. It was Pablo Caduga who was mentioning the ferry from Harwich was carnage. Skip, but it was even more carnage. And Jules, don't even remember getting on the ferry home. A lot of beers that couple of days.
I bet that was incredible.
And Pablo, I remember Dad saying he'd never seen so many hungover people in his life. And in the show, the Wolsey, it's not a spoiler. They have a kind of whatever these old cine camera thingies. So they were filming it. It's a good point. The Instagram tweets and all kind of stuff would be off the chain, wouldn't they, as the kids say. Let's go and talk about Accrington, Seb. And as always, we've got a myriad of different pieces of information to keep you up to date. Do you want to tell us what's happening with Accrington in the league at the moment and remind us what happened to them last season, Seb?
Yeah, so far they're sat perfectly mid-table in 12th, played 10 games, won 4, drawn 1 and lost 5. Hit a bit of a dodgy run of form, scored 12 goals but conceded 19. So they're averaging 1.9 goals, basically 2 goals per game conceded. So that suggests that we can hopefully try and fill our boots a little bit tomorrow. Home form is good though. They are pretty decent at the Wham Stadium. Played 4, won 3 away. They're pretty hopeless away, but their home form is strong at the Wham Stadium, and obviously our record isn't amazing either. You and me were there for that FA Cup third round game in January 19. Would that have been? Yeah,
something like that. Yeah,
very cold.
Season,
Or it was the relegation season. It was Jordan Spence's last appearance in a Town shirt. That was very, very cold, an awful day. And then the next season was the start of the rot, wasn't it? We had that amazing start. Then we went to Accrington, probably around the same time of year, I think. And NCR had a bit of a nightmare, gave away the penalty. Dobra gets sent off in the second half, and we never really recover from that. We've gone that awful run of form. So our recent record isn't amazing there, albeit we won last year. But after Tuesday night, we shouldn't be fearing anyone at this stage, should we?
No, I've just realised that I haven't audited my usual video thing. There were lots of Sheffield Wednesday text that hadn't been deleted, so I've rapidly moved away from showing that. But John Coleman in charge has been the manager since September 2014. Captain Seamus Keneally, I'm going to go with that pronunciation. Last time out, a bit of a battering at Oxford, as we talked about there. And in terms of business in the summer, quite a busy time for them, but lots of free transfers, as you'd expect. The notable departure, as we know all about, is Cameron Burgess, who joined us for a fee of £750,000 and continues the bankrolling that Ipswich Town seems to be doing of Accrington building up their infrastructure at the Wham Stadium. I've highlighted 2 players that have come in, probably not the most eye-catching, but I did this last week, Seb. I don't know if you've spotted the trend of goalkeeper loanees. It didn't work out too well for Bailey Peacock Farrell last week, so I thought I'd burden James Trafford, who's on loan from Man City, with the possibility of failure here. So he's had 4 matches in a row coming in, and he's only 18, poor kid. But at a time when they're struggling, it's a bit of a challenge for him. Harry Pell might be known to some people who follow Colchester's fortunes. Joined them on a free transfer, kind of box-to-box midfielder there. I'll talk about him a little bit more in how the midfield works together, but a good free transfer signing. I think quite a lot of Cole U fans were caught out there because I think Harry Pell's from family and friends are all kind of clustered around the southern parts of the country, so quite a big old trip up to Accrington, but has made a strong start and a strong impression there. So good luck to him. In terms of Coleman then, Seb. It's probably no understatement to say him and Paul Cook have a big affinity. Do you want to tell us about that?
Yeah, both in the same area of Liverpool, aren't they? So it sounds like they're good mates. You only had to listen to the pre-match today, the quotes that Paul Cook was doing, and it just sounds like they're good friends. I think, didn't he say when he tried to sign Burgess, he basically just rang or text John Coleman, and a deal was thrashed out very, very quickly. So both from the same sort of neck of the woods, but interesting that Coleman messaged Cook or rang Cook and said, "This will all go right for you. Don't worry about it, and it will click just in time for you to play us." And it's worked out exactly that way, hasn't it? So I think he's done a good job personally at Accrington. He's back in his second spell there. He's been there forever. He was there for 12 years, from 99 to 2012. Then he goes away and very much stays in the Northwest. He goes to, I think, Oldham and places like that, and then he comes back to them. Eight years ago now, and they've done really well under him. Let's be honest. They've moved up from League Two. They've comfortably stayed themselves in the in League One now, and I think they're a really good, well-run club. I really like Accrington, and very friendly as well. I remember the FA Cup game; they were incredibly friendly. They really made an effort to welcome us, and it's a very good Northern away day.
Yeah, there was a time last season when they were hunting down a playoff spot, and they had a really shocking run of defeats in March. They lost 5 out of 7 games in March last year, including 7-0 defeat to Peterborough, and also the defeat to us where Paul Cook was in the stands. Do you remember that? Have we mentioned that yet?
No, that's where Norwood misses a penalty, but then scores later, doesn't he? And Cook is in the stands. He's not in charge, but he's in the stands. He was announced earlier that day, I think, and met the team up in the Northwest somewhere. And then we were awful. Was it like 3 days later we went somewhere else and we're absolute Gillingham, and we were awful. But yeah, we won on that night 2-1. So that broke the recent run of bad performances at the Wham Stadium, and Wham. And yeah, no, like I say, I think they're a good club, and but hopefully they'll start struggling again tomorrow. Yeah,
Skip saying they grew up in, I think, Crosby. If Crosby is Kirkby, then I think that's that's around Liverpool area, isn't it?
Yeah, why not?
What does our research say? I thought it was Kirkby, but I might be wrong.
I think it was Kirkby. I'm not entirely sure. It could be Crosby. But it's all the same.
You're local. It's just down the road from you, isn't it?
Brilliant. I tried to stay as far away as I possibly can.
Okay, fine. But they did play in the same youth team together. So yeah, this affinity does go back a long old way. I played together with John when I was 7 years of age. John was a bit older than me. He was in the under 11s team. I think I just had 6 or 7, and John was probably 10 or 11 when we'd been friends ever since. There you go. Oh, Cookie's returned.
It's incredible. It's uncanny.
Did the voice bit, which I love. I love Cookie's voice. That's so good. And a link to all the playing staff seem to have played for Accrington as well.
Yeah, Gary Roberts, Francis Jeffers. Yeah, they've all been there. Ian Craney as well, the guy from Wigan. They've all been there in the past. So there's a real sort of bond between the two clubs, isn't there?
Yeah.
And we paid for their stand and their seating and their changing. I think they redid their changing rooms as well, didn't they? With the Nassi and Cade and Jackson money, I think. So
all in all, so $750 for Burgess.
Yeah,
$750
for Nassi,
and we
think it was 1.6. Yeah, for Jackson, was it? I'm not sure if that was all up front or if it's based on certain things, but yeah, we've funded them a lot of money. Best one, yeah. We've chucked a lot of money their way with mixed results. I think it's fair to say Burgess looks very solid. Danasi now appears to be a crucial player, but I guess Jackson's been a bit hit and miss, hasn't he, for the last couple of years? So
yeah. Let's catch up with some comments. Katie, evening to Katie. Good to see things finally starting to click with Cook. No coincidence with midfield maestro Morsey. And one question, where on earth, Katie? I think you're a Wigan fan, aren't you? So great to have you with us. If you've seen the goals, I mean, pretty good quality finishes, aren't they, Seb?
They were, yeah.
Header as well in there.
A perfect hat trick, and yeah, like Katie says, where did that come from? I'd love to know what odds Lee Evans was to get a hat trick at 7:40 on Tuesday night, because it's nothing that anybody I don't think would ever have considered. But he's not going to be doing that on a regular basis. But that just shows, the pressure is off for him now with the captaincy gone and Morsey sat alongside him. And if he could be that sort of late midfielder bursting into the box, a la Tommy Miller, like we used to get, then brilliant.
Yeah, Jules, I see you in the chat. No spoilers from me, but I'll just do that for you. Rob noticed that both not the top 20 and Totally Football tipped us for wins in their betting show. They massively fancy us. And Katie Aki currently going through it. Yeah, I thought that said Aka, and so I could have dovetailed those 2 points, but they're very different. Yeah, they are, and very challenging.
Hopefully we can take full advantage of it tomorrow. You know, they got absolutely tonked. Was it 5-1, 5-0 against Oxford in midweek with a formation change? Actually, they've played mainly 3 at the back for most of the season. 8 out of the 10 games have been a back 3. They changed it up a little bit and got absolutely hammered by Oxford midweek. So hopefully they're right for the taking.
Yep. With the I always struggle ADRAHC with your username Adrak. State Aki is in. It would be a setback. Yeah, comfortable win though. This is the thing, Seb. The trouble is football fans is we're very up and down, aren't we? And 6-0 to Doncaster. You see the Accrington 5-1 defeat, and you suddenly think it's going to be a walkover. But it's never as simple as that, is it? We need to maybe temper this idea of comfortable wins.
Yeah, we should be confident, rightly so. You know, we've had a great performance and things are finally starting to turn around. But, you know, this will be quite a measure, I think, because how many times in the past as Town fans have we had a good result and then the next game we let ourselves down, we mess it up somehow and we lose that momentum. If we can get a win there tomorrow, which I think we will, I think we'll win there tomorrow, then, you know, 2 wins on the bounce. If we can keep a clean sheet tomorrow, then you're only looking at 1 goal conceded in the last 4 games, which will do the defence and the goalkeeper's confidence a world of good. And it could really, really be the start of a good run.
Yeah,
Katie's cursed us though.
No, she knows the score. That's a good shout, that is. And what time you go for the voice change bingo? It's usually about a minute in these days. Let's continue to talk about Accrington and figure out what's the story there. We've talked about signings. This is something that we, again, in the green room beforehand, we talked about a signing from Leicester, Mitch Clark, who is one of these players that we both seemingly had to try and find fullbacks to loan on Football Manager, and it turns out this is a guy that's signed for Accrington. Can play either side, but I always love it when in real life.
That's why it's so handy on Football Manager, isn't it?
We sound like we know what we're talking about, but he can play either side. I think they've been using him more on the right wing. They've got options on the right. They tell us about the formation, Seb. It's the 3-5-2. I think it's more of a 5-3-2, to be fair.
Yeah, the fullbacks don't really fire on that much, do they? And it's a bit of a land of the giants in the back 4, isn't it? You've got Nottingham, I think, is 6'4". Sykes is like 6'3". So you know what you're going to get when you go to Accrington. Their major strengths are going to be physicality, aerial duels, attacking set pieces, and defending set pieces. So you know what you're going to get. And Mitch Clark, I think, has he been primarily playing on the left-hand side, I think, hasn't he?
Right, I think.
Right, okay, fair enough.
It's Pritchard on the left.
Okay, so it looks like it will go. I would think it will revert to the back 3, and the 2 up front. One of which is Colby Bishop, who we've not mentioned yet, but obviously we were linked with quite a lot over the summer, weren't we?
Yeah, we'll come to the strikers in a second, because let's go through the team, shall we? In goal we mentioned Trafford, who started the last 4. Toby Slevin is typically the first choice keeper. He's their own player, highly coveted, I think, by quite a lot of EFL teams last season, but has struggled, and you wonder whether that's a goalkeeping thing or just a structural thing, perhaps. You mentioned the land of the giants. We need to mention Sam Sherring, who's on loan from Bournemouth, who's Burgess's replacement, effectively. And then the wing backs, fullbacks, whatever you want to call them, really. Harvey Rogers, also pretty chunky, I think. And when they did 4 at the back against Oxford, which didn't really work, I think he was at left back possibly. Mankwa's out there as well, but Joe Pritchard is the left wing option, more of a left winger than a left wing back, and that might be a factor as to why they're getting conceding so many chances, because maybe he's pushing up too high, perhaps. In the midfield, Sean McConville's the man with the assists this season, and Matt Butcher, Seb, is another person. You've mentioned Colby Bishop briefly there, but Butcher was another link, wasn't he?
Was he?
Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah, that rings a bell. Yeah, quite late on in the window, wasn't it?
He was mooted as a pre-Morsey signing.
Yeah, that's it. When we were looking to fill that defensive midfield role, and we were looking at, was it Morrill before Portsmouth got in and tried to pinch him? Yeah, I remember him being mentioned around that time, but I don't know how much there was in that, or if we ever made contact or anything. But I remember him being mentioned. Yeah.
Yep. So he was the pre-Morsey, and then we got the real deal. And Pell we mentioned briefly as well, also in the midfield. My brother-in-law, I should say. Tom is a Collier fan and said that Harry Pell, box-to-box midfielder, quite aggressive, also a bit of a wind-up merchant. He said he's the kind of player that you want in your team, but it does flag a bit of a deficiency they've got, which is disciplinary wise. Pell and the centre back Sykes both already on the 5 bookings, 24 yellows in total, no reds yet. But with Wigan, the joint second worst count of cards in the division so far. So a bit of ill discipline perhaps in the team, particularly in midfield. And then up front, there's a weird situation. We know about Bishop, Mansell's out there as well, but what's the situation with Dion Charles? Joe mentioned this on.
Yeah, Joe brought it up, didn't he, on the live stream in midweek? Catch it on YouTube on demand now. He's in the middle of a contract dispute, isn't he? So we've not mentioned the owner yet, Holt, who's quite outspoken on Twitter. I think it's fair to say he's in the middle of a contract dispute with Holt, and I think Holt's tweeted a couple of things basically saying he's not going to get his move or whatever. So he was so key for them last year. So he's just not in the picture as things stand at the minute. So the responsibility kind of falls on Bishop and Mansell, isn't it, to get the goals?
Yeah, 19 last season in 42 appearances, which is pretty good going. He's made six appearances so far this season and 0 goals there. So that kind of tells you everything you need to know. But in respect of the style of play, we've talked about the big physical imposing team, and it's my dad came for the game on Tuesday against Doncaster, and he says this every time. It's like the opposition is so much bigger than we are. Why is that? And you get the sense that it's definitely going to be okay. I don't think Doncaster particularly were, frankly. Maybe it was the angle that we had, but tomorrow that is going to be a factor, and set pieces obviously the obvious danger.
Massively so, yeah. But I guess, with the likes of Edmondson, what's he nicknamed, the Fridge? Burgess is a big player. Hopefully we've got people to, hopefully we've got the players to counteract them now. We know what it's going to be. It's going to be balls into the box, playing for set pieces, centre halves forward at every opportunity for a set piece. But I think we've got the physicality now to match them. If this is a couple of years ago and you're going in a little bit raw, but with the likes of Edmondson, Shawley, Morsey can put himself about. Lee Evans looks like quite a big player. Hopefully at set pieces will be okay.
Yeah, and the weaknesses of this approach to me seems to be that interceptions is the highest in the league. So a lot of the defensive action is from that midfield. I think tackles per game not great, shots and crosses blocked not particularly good as well. So this isn't a dynamic centre back trio, I suspect. No, it's more about mopping up stuff in the air and stopping crosses, and that's not really our style of play. So it'll be interesting to see how that turns out. I'm not sure how they do with defending down the wing, but if you've got
but apparently they're quite poor. Yeah, they are quite poor defending down the wing, so that could be crucial. That Danasi and Burns relationship, and then the Burns Macaulay Bond relationship could be key, couldn't it?
Yeah, and Bond getting through. I mean, that happened so many times against Doncaster, and even last weekend as well, that you think there's an opportunity there. Any more bits and pieces that you want to flag about Accrington said before we jump back into the comments?
I mean, their style of play, they will look to get a lot of shots off as well. They're averaging 15 shots per game. So it looks very much, on Football Manager, where you can set the tactic, either work it into the box or just shoot on sight. It looks like Coleman is very much pressed that option because they're, like I say, 15 shots per game. I think they're averaging about 4 on target and 11 off target per game. So there will be an awful lot of shots. But if we can keep them to long distance, we should be okay in that respect. That was just an interesting stat that caught my eye.
Let's go back to I think those stats are great. And this is we were talking about this as well. The amount of data that's now available to us football fans, us mortals, is really interesting. So it does allow us to provide a bit of colour and context for these thoughts. Chris, evening to Chris, worth listening to the EFL podcast where the two managers talk about their relationship. Brilliant. They talk several times a week at 7 a.m. I love that.
That's great to hear, isn't it? Yeah, that's really good to hear as well.
Can you subtitle a podcast though, Chris? I'm not sure. It might be needed for some of us, perhaps. Jules is taking a 1-0 on the 3 points.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, I think we'll go with that, isn't we? Michael, is there such thing as a tight 4-0 win? We can look like we can score with every attack. And as we said, the weaknesses that we've flagged, that might be the opportunity here. And it does feel that there's an element of clicking that perhaps John Coleman was hoping that would have taken maybe another couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Even it's a mark, control performance tomorrow, keep it solid with enough creativity and firepower to nick a goal at any time. Katie's asked about Walton. I think that's been dealt with in the chat, but I suspect Seb, if we start to talk about Ipswich for tomorrow, it's likely to be unchanged, isn't it?
I would have thought so. Yeah, I mean, he's reported in. I don't know if anybody is injured before training this morning. I don't think Carroll's back. Edwards is back. NCR's back. So you assume Edwards will be a bench option. But after a 6-0, you're not going to drop anybody, are you? And the difference in his performances now is really good. I thought he looked solid again on Tuesday night. I watched it on iFollow. He was coming out and claiming things, whereas at the start of the season there was a bit of hesitancy. So he completely deserves to keep the shirt. It's his to lose at the moment. And of the last 3 games, he's been beaten by a relatively he couldn't have saved that one against Sheffield Wednesday, could he? So, 1 goal in the last 3 games, albeit a relative one that he was going to get nowhere near. I think he's playing really well.
Yeah,
and I guess that comes with the defense in front of him now being solid. It's now we know the defense is going to be Danassian, Edmondson, Burgess, and then one of Penny or Coulson, depending on fitness. And I guess if he's got that solidity in front of him, he can build up those relationships, and it looks like it's making the world of difference now.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see Morsey tomorrow versus Pell and others. Skipper saying that Evans is a unit too, and it'll be interesting to see how that midfield configuration works and whether Evans is afforded as much freedom as he got on Tuesday. It sounded to me like Paul Cook wasn't expecting him to be getting into the box as much, and maybe that won't be so.
Yeah, different kind of game, isn't it? I think him and Morsey will be very much the two that are just sitting and protecting everything else and looking to make things tick over nicely and just leave the front 4 to do all the attacking options.
Yeah, and Jules is making a similar point here. Morsey dominating midfield. Burns can push up forward to join the front 4. And he means Evans. Yeah, and I guess we're maybe not as confident that he'll be as marauding as he was on Tuesday night. Michael's going very specific here. Another early run from Burns, ball across the 6-yard box to Bond, 1-0 inside first 10 minutes. There you go. When the fun stops,
it's a great relationship that's building there, isn't it?
And a skipper side here, Edwards, Chaplin, Harper coming off the bench on 65 minutes. This is the abundance of options that we now have. It's just crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. Look back last year, we had Drinnan and Hawkins were our options to try and change a game, and you look at the bench now and it's just absolutely incredible. There's a chance tomorrow, one of Edwards, Chaplin, Barry, one of them's not going to get on the bench. It's just crazy. The options is absolutely crazy.
Any more bits and pieces? I think what I want in the chat predictions for tomorrow. We've already started to have those, so give us your predictions. Seb and I will do ours in a second, but firstly we'll do our 2 usual features. Let's start with yours, Seb.
Are you ever going to change the Partridge music, or is
I love it.
Brilliant. I love it. It's just here to stay now. Can I report it somehow and it will get removed due to copyright reasons?
Why would you do that? Why would you? No, because you
just make it less Partridge.
Why?
I do one fact about bridges and I live to
regret it. I'll change the music next time.
You'll make it that music. Clown again, won't you? My one this week. I spoiled you last week. You had 3 last week, so just the one this week. And the fact is that the first ever penalty kick in English League football was awarded against Accrington on the 14th of September in 1891. So it was brought in as a new law, and it was they were the 1891. Yeah, 1891. Wow. They were the first ever side to be penalised with a penalty kick against them. Wolves. They were playing Wolves. Wolves won 5-0, so it wasn't decided in the game. But yeah, that was the first ever penalty kick given in English League football.
And I bet everyone was going, it was never a handball ref, except it was,
but much more posher.
Oh yes, I did. Definitely, I was a handball referee. Yes, there you go. The first penalty conceded in league football. Was by Accrington Stanley. Fantastic.
Back in 1891.
1891. Let's finish off the Accrington coverage with.
Not a trick, is it? Knowledge, education,
And for those in the chat, they can see what's coming. Gold star goes for Jules. I will be going for Kobe Bishop because he is Leamington FC alumni, one of the good guys, got through the non-league system with Leamington, scored loads of goals, physical presence, always a danger, scores penalties as well. So there's Colby Bishop. I'm cursing him with greatness. I think he scored twice against us already, I think. So Colby Bishop.
Have you tallied your record so far this season? There must have only been like one game when nothing happened.
Only the Lincoln game.
Yeah.
Otherwise, every time. This is, I mean, why is no?
Should we send this to the club?
I tweeted the club. I tweeted the club saying, I can't do my, because the trouble is I'm now getting abuse from people It's like, stop telling these people
Stop ruining
to score.
it.
I'm not
Yeah.
doing anything apart from doing some research that the club really should be doing. Mark these people up. So Colby Bishop's going to get the treatment tomorrow. Hopefully someone's listening on the bus. Tell Cookie that
Shout down the front of the bus to Cookie. Yeah, just shout down the bus and say, we need to mark this guy.
Yep. Let's quickly whiz through the predictions here. What have we got here? Oh, Huck, really impressed with Burns. Always on it right from the start. Agreed. Lovely understanding, developing. Yeah, great point. Gary's go for a 3-1. Charlie knows the score. Make it more Partridge. And Skip, you can never have too much Partridge. There we go. The viewers
have spoken, fair
our
enough,
friends have spoken, so we have to listen to.
I'll do the show in a blazer next week.
Badge and tie combination. Yeah, 2-0 for Andreas. Triple thumbs up from Jules. He knows the score. Oh, Katie, come on, get off the fence. 0-0 for her. I think I can understand the logic behind that one. It would be great, says Michael, if we could score from a corner with a thumping header. Burgess. There you go.
Against his old side. He nearly did it against Lincoln, didn't he? Hit the bar against Lincoln. So, and Edmondson obviously scored from a set piece with a header on Tuesday night. So yeah, that'd be great.
3-1 upper Tad. I can see what Mark has messaged. I'm already looking forward to reading it out. 3-1 from Skip. 3-0 from Josh. 2-0 from Charlie. Who invented the Skip intro? Bobby Moore. I don't know. Hucks go for a 3-1. Seb, what's your prediction?
I'm going to be relatively boring. I think we'll win, but I'm going to go for a 1-0 win. I think keep the clean sheet, get the goal. I'm going to go Macaulay Bond to score again, and a 1-0 win to Town.
I like a single goal win, but I think both teams will score because I think both teams have scored pretty consistently throughout. So I'll go for a 2-1. I'll keep with my 2-1. Eric's gone for a 2-0. Mark in the know, but my parents clearly. There you go. Robert's going for a 6-0. Why not? Why not? And Michael's going for a 4-0. Rob's going for a 3-1. I do, yeah. Well, it'd be good to keep another clean sheet, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Build that defensive solidity and
defenses win titles.
Yeah, there you go. There's the quote. Put that on your telly program. Are you ready, Seb, for what's to come next?
Always.
Here comes the Chad music. And worth reminding everyone what happened last week. It was a difficult one, and the chat was very mixed, but the vote was by no means. It was.
I thought it'd be a lot.
Craig Fimbo's words. It was a landslide, said, but I think a legitimate one because it's a real issue, isn't it? This these B teams and Premier League teams plundering all of the best players from the EFL.
Yeah, so, fair enough. I guess it was one of those. I thought it'd be closer on the vote. You were debating putting both as an option, weren't you? But we said not to do that one. So yeah, no, hats off to you. Fair play. You've won that one, and we'll see what this week brings. I guess.
Come on, give it with more feeling and yeah, fair play to you. Well done. Yeah,
well done.
You are the best. Here's the league table just to remind everyone who's the best at this game. There you go. I just want to check comments. We're all doing good. Oh, there we go. Katie, 2 weeks ago, was anything to go by. You have a bathroom time, lovely fans, cheap food.
It's a great day, yeah. It really is. Even at the awful 1-0 FA Cup defeat, they were so welcoming. It was a really, really good day. It's a really good Northern away day. I highly recommend it. And as always, we'll travel in good numbers because we always do. And they really do they go out their way to make you feel welcome.
If you're listening to this tomorrow morning, on Saturday morning, going up on the coach, firstly, congratulations on having amazing taste in podcasts. Secondly, enjoy your day out because it is, as Seb said, and Katie said, great day out. There's a fan zone that's open from 12:30. Away fans welcome as well. So do enjoy it and hopefully bring us back some points as well. Do you want to go second or first, Seb, on Room 101? Please give us your real-time reactions. No, don't speak until you speak. Real-time reactions on who you think is making the most compelling case. As always, we'll put the votes up tomorrow morning, Saturday morning, along with the tweet advertising the podcast audio and all that stuff. Seb, go on. Sorry.
You want me to go first? Okay, I'll go first because I think, I'll go first and we'll see how we get on. So this week, I'm going to go for midweek fixtures that are ridiculous travel times with absolutely no consideration for fans. And the reason I'm going for this was I was looking at the fixtures on Tuesday night And they all just jumped out to me that they were all absolutely crazy. So obviously we know Doncaster came down to us. We had it ourselves a few weeks ago with Cheltenham. And to give you an idea, the other games that night, Charlton played Bolton. We played Doncaster. Oxford played Accrington. Plymouth played Crewe. Rotherham played Wimbledon. And Sunderland had to go to Cheltenham. Is that not mental on a Tuesday night? Is that not absolutely ridiculous? I mean, I understand there's probably a whole myriad of things that go into the fixture list button pushing decider on the computer, but surely somebody has to sit there and sanity check these things. You know, to make the longest journey was the Sunderland fans. Sunderland to Cheltenham was 4 hours and 18 minutes, and it's just crazy. Why can't those games A, be on a Saturday, and B, the way it worked out, you had Charlton playing Bolton and you had Rotherham playing Wimbledon. So why can't Rotherham play Bolton and Charlton play Wimbledon and minimise all the travel for everybody? It seems absolutely crazy. You know, everybody wins if more fans are able to go to the games. The clubs get more revenue, the brand gets more exposure, the EFL brand gets more exposure. It just struck me as absolutely crazy. We had it with Cheltenham, and we've got it. Is it Portsmouth in 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks maybe? We've got to go to Portsmouth on a Tuesday night again. So it's ridiculous. Somebody at the EFL sort it out. Have a look when the list is published and just use that human sense check to stop people having to travel over 2.5 or 3 hours on a midweek is ridiculous.
It's just another variable to stick into the algorithm, isn't it? Surely, I quite agree.
Surely, like I say, the way it worked out the other night, I don't understand why those teams couldn't have played the more local sides. Yep. To me, it seems a no-brainer. I don't understand why it's doing it, and it's not fair on the fans.
Yeah, it's quite, and it's always the fans that take the brunt. But the teams will have struggled as well. Poor Doncaster travelled to Plymouth and then to us. I don't know whether they did the kind of the as it were, the top of the triangle, or whether they stayed in Ipswich or something like that. But that's not great for them.
No,
and 185 Donny fans as well, who, bless them. You know, I think Richie Wellens is going to sort out refunds.
Refunded, aren't they? Yeah, they're getting refunded.
Heroes, every single one of them. But anyway, blimey.
We had it with Cheltenham. Cheltenham to Ipswich is 3.5, 3 hours 45 on that Tuesday night at the start of the season. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, there you go. Well, everyone is seemingly, this is Skip's buying into the tense. This is it. Seb speaks sense, says Charlie. Well,
cheers, Charlie.
Does he speak more or less sense than me? Katie's got Cambridge on a Tuesday in November.
See, crazy. And they can do it because don't they purposely do Boxing Day so that everyone is relatively local? On Boxing Day, it's very rare that you get a far away game throughout the entire league. So that algorithm must be there somewhere for Boxing Day. So just amend it somehow.
Maybe there isn't an algorithm. Maybe we're giving the EFL too much credit. Maybe there's an algorithm for the championship.
The human element needs to come back into it and just sanity check it. I couldn't see it happening in the Premier League. Do you think Newcastle would ever play Southampton on a midweek? Not a chance.
Did you research that?
No. Someone's going to find it now and say someone's going to find it and say they play in 3 weeks' time on a Tuesday night. Or
Didn't put the research in on Room 101. Yeah, well, strong start, says Skip, and until maybe that moment when you admitted that you've not done any research. Mine's nice and easy this week, and I might harness my inner Jay from the in-betweeners to sell it. Is this modern trend of footballers taking to social media to apologise for moments that happen quite routinely in football, like missing a penalty. So Man United missed penalty last week. And I've forgotten his name. Talk about research.
Bruno Fernandes.
Bruno. I was thinking Ronaldo.
He's probably one that's not in your fantasy side. That's why you don't know his name.
The thing is, I was going to put him in my team at the start of the season. I thought he's not going to score as many goals as he did last season. And the opening day, I think he scored twice, didn't he? I immediately regretted it. Yeah, Fernandes. Oh, sorry, I missed a penalty. Oh, forgive me. It's like, mate, it's football. Grow up, get on with it. This idea that football fans, do we take it too seriously? We expect footballers to miss penalties, don't we? I just don't get it. You don't see Mark Noble coming out. Maybe Mark Noble did. Maybe I didn't do my research. Oh, this is backfired so bad. But Mark Noble didn't come out and miss that penalty against Man United. He's going, oh, sorry, I missed the penalty. Sorry if I sent off. Just not buying it. Just grow up. This is football. We know that bad things happen. You don't need to apologise. We're grown-ups. Well, most of us are. We can figure out that these things happen. You don't need to apologise. Get on with it. Don't do it again. And all is forgiven. So there you go.
Do you not find those ones are worse though, because all the teammates suddenly pile on and do like the strong arm emoji,
the best.
back stronger and the heart emoji and the team colours and stuff.
God, it's just sickening. I'm all for, don't get me wrong, I'm all for players providing more interaction on social media, but not blooming, oh, like me. I'm sorry, give me a like. If you want to give us good social media content, let us into training, let us into the dressing room. Do you know what I mean? Maybe change first, but this is give us insights as to how the game day works, all that stuff. I love the Ipswich Town behind the scenes videos and all that kind of stuff. That's the type of content we want, not apologies for doing something that anyone can do. Just grow up. It's 2021. I'm milking it because I think I've lost already. So and I'm
not
pretty
sure. Yours is topical. So
we'll
see. I was confident last week. What are the people saying in the
False 19? Newcastle travel to Southampton on New Year's Day.
That's fine. It's bank holiday.
Although it's a Saturday.
Yeah, that's fine. Few.
Oh, there you go.
If that had been a Tuesday night, I'd have probably just lost all the points. If somebody can find that Mark Noble tweeted an apology, that'd be great.
Cornish has got me there.
I never thought of that. Yeah.
I don't think he needs to apologise, Cornish. What do you think? I'm not sure he needs to.
I think
it's one of those things.
I think you're slagging off Macaulay Bonn on this podcast, so that's how I read it personally.
I bloody love Macaulay
my view.
That miss was rubbish, though, wasn't it? Let's be honest. And what I must have learned from Jonathan Douglas is that Bruno Fernandes are talking about. Skip, you're right to clarify that one. Tough talk from Rich. I'm not sure it's working hard enough, Charlie. I get apologising before performance, but they just go overboard. Yeah, it's just.
Well, the Richie Wellens one on Tuesday night, he comes out in the post-match. He says, totally unacceptable, we'll refund the players. He doesn't then go on about it for days on end and whack it on all his socials and stuff. So Katie's right, they do go over it.
You win, Rich. There you go, Michael. Do the players kiss the badge after going online to say sorry? I'm sorry. Yeah. James, evening to James. Sorry, I'm late. That's all right. The player. Oh, what's the score going to be, Seb? So Seb's gone. What's your score?
I've gone 1-0.
And the player doing the damage is Colby Bishop. James, glad to have you with us, and congratulations for a couple of weeks back. Stephen Humphrey singing on. This is what we want. We want the initiation.
Yeah, the initiation songs. That's what you
want.
Get
that on your Instagram, Bruno. That's what we want.
The bus trips away and stuff like that. Yeah.
So there you go. Well, you guys get to decide. You we'll put it to the vote on Twitter. I think Seb's made a strong case this week. So, look at his little face. He needs a win. Get him back on track. Do it if you're going to do anything. Do have sympathy for Seb. Just look at this. Put the league table back up very quickly, shall we?
In case you pull too far forward, yeah.
There we go. Look at that. Double your points.
There's only 2 points in it.
Oh no, I know.
It's nothing.
I'm trying to. I'm
a good week, and I'm right back in the game.
Thanks for the thumbs up as well on Facebook, James. Appreciate that. So I think we'll leave it there for Football Room 101, and all of you want to hear the music again, so let's play the music. So we are in the final stretch. Thanks to everyone who's joined us and stuck with us so far. We're going to do some plugs and bits and pieces, but we want to hear any last comments, any last predictions. If you've only just joined us and want to give us your score predictions, any shout outs, all that kind of cool stuff, get it in the chat. We will do as many as we can before we say goodbye. There's a few things we want to draw attention to. We mentioned Chris on and the London Marathon. I'm just going to put that on the screen once more. uk.virginmoneygiving.com/Tyler_10 years at Chris Wade 88 on Twitter, and good luck to him. Vaseline plasters, those are the kind of key things. I think lots of tinfoil, I don't know. So good luck to Chris with that, and go and support him. Go and donate to a fantastic charity. We've got our usual shows coming up. The live show from midweek with Joe and I dealing with Doncaster, and also we had an interesting chat, and also good to get some feedback on this from everyone. Thought about doing a football book club podcast type thingy, or maybe a football shirt podcast type thingy. So if you've got any ideas for additional shows, or if those ideas sound good to you, then let us know. Stick us a comment, or contact us at Blue Monday ITFC. All of our Twitter details, our social medias are scrolling across the bottom there. So do let us know about that. We're always interested to do more content, always interested to find things where we can be more interactive as well. I like the idea of us all reading a football book, Seb, and then coming back and discussing it and all that kind of stuff. So maybe a coming show like that coming in the works. Who knows? The Flagship Back on Monday morning, as usual. Mikey in the host chair with Craig and Dave. Dave makes a welcome return after a couple of weeks on holiday and various things. So always good to hear from Double D. And the pre-match show, we will be back next week for Shrewsbury. I think, Seb, you are taking a week off and
Mike's
back after.
Very kindly sit in for me again and hopefully kick your ass at room 101. If you two can make it as convoluted as it was 2 weeks ago, that'd be brilliant, because that was the best room 101 ever.
Yeah, well, I'll find a way to just make it last about an hour, and we'll have a proper state of the nation, and then we just disagree with the points that we made at the start. So we'll do that. So Mikey back next week, and join us for that. We don't know whether that will be a pre-record or a live show, but follow our Twitter, you'll find out more about that, and interesting to see how Shrewsbury get on. So that is the shows. Seb, where can we find you on the socials?
At BrownSO8 on Twitter and Seb.Brown16 on Instagram.
And you can find me at Ipswich on both. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up if you're watching on YouTube, or if you want to give us a review, a positive review, I'd hope, on your podcast platform of choice. Please do that as well. Always good to hear from folk, and always good to get feedback. Always good to try and improve as well. So we're always keen to hear that. Thank you, Seb, for all of your hard work, your research, your facts of the week. Another classic. That's what we want. So we will we'll miss that next week. Maybe you need to give us a Shrewsbury one for Mikey, or maybe we'll get Mikey to do some hard work. Let's go and finish off in the comments. What have we got else in here? The chat keeps going. Drinkwa lost ping pong when his forefoot was coming to training. This is the content that we want.
Yeah, that's what people want to see. If any head of social medias are watching for any club anywhere in the land, this is the kind of stuff that we want to see, behind the scenes stuff.
Club post him as a pirate all over social media. Fast 19 doesn't want Cole Scoose's game shows back. I think Edmondson needs another that coffee chat YouTube show that
was good.
We had one episode. We need more of those. I think Edmondson's good value there. Rob Horan's going still. He's positive. That's what we want on a Friday.
Yeah, and if we
before
can,
the match.
God, it's going to be an amazing. We need 2.2 points per game to win the league. So if that happens, that will be amazing. What a run that'll be.
Good on you, Robert. Let's strive for greatness, shall we? Michael, can we go 3 up in the first 10 so I don't have to hide by the sofa? Yeah, well, we'll try. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Charlie, for getting involved as always, and enjoy the game if you're going. Here we go, Skip. I think Rich reading celeb quotes in his cookie voice, and we have to guess the celeb. Maybe I need to do that as the book thing. I'll read quotes, passages from the book, and in the cook voice, and you'll have to figure out which book it was. Cheers, everyone on off screen. All the best from Brisbane. Yeah, all the best, Michael. Thank you for joining us. Eric, thank you for joining us as well. Glad you enjoyed that. Thanks, Skip. Thanks, Cornish. Thanks, Katie, for joining us as well. Always appreciate getting a wider perspective, and good luck to Wigan until we play you guys quite soon. Up the ticks. 2 points needed. Is that for...
There you go. So to win the league, 2 points per game needed.
Doable. Hashtag doable.
Easy. Simple.
So there, let's end with that positivity, shall we? So thank you again, everybody, for watching. And join us next week for the shows we mentioned, the live show midweek, pre-match show next week, and obviously Monday we've got the flagship as well. Seb, I'm going to let you say the final word.
Good luck to Chris one last time. Hope you absolutely smash it. And tomorrow, come on, you Blues.